Yo, what it do, baby? You already know. What's up? What's up? I'm trying to get you on Instagram. Let me see if I'm. Okay, it's saying I'm streaming. I hope it is. What it do, guys? What it do? All right. So, guys, tonight, pretty mellow mood, and I'm going to get right into the business. We're going to discuss a few things. This one, Wednesday, I want to discuss a few things. One of the things I wanted to discuss is just some tea. I hope all of you guys are happy. Put a little bit of music behind my voice. I hope all of you guys are having a good day. In the news, in the media, I had a very good day. I had a very good day today. Kind of jump into the, but I just want to let the bit. I hope all of you guys are doing well. Lessons. One of the things I want to discuss is that you can do anything that you put your mind to. I'm gonna share my screen, guys. Let me cut off my music. We're gonna get into what's been going on. Let's just hop into it.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement, the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have a response to Iran?
Guys, have y'all seen that? Let me play that back.
The likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with, but I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know. Do you understand that?
Do you kind of respond?
Oh, the New Yorker came out today. Guys, have never seen a president this honest. Can we agree on that? Our president came out and he said it with his whole chest, you guys. He said it with his whole chest. Now, why did he say that? Because they had a peace treaty, guys. Signed a peace treaty, and the Israel did not keep the peace. Okay, so let's play this.
Israel says that Iran violated the peace agreement in the sea. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel?
As soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop have on them. So I'm not happy with them. Not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy with going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot for a mistake that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so that they don't know what the fuck. And that
Israel says that Iran violated the peace.
Guys, I don't think that we've ever had a situation where we had a president that was so straightforward and so honest about what was going on and what was taking place, guys. And I think that's good for the country, man, because honestly, who remembers who is old enough to remember what it was like 9/11? Okay? All right, if you lived through that time, you know how, and I don't think anybody wants to see the country get into that type of situation again. You know, it changed everything. Another thing that Americans are more concerned with over the war in the Middle East, Americans are more concerned about what's going on in our country economically. How are people doing? We're going to get into that in a minute because a lot of people are struggling right now. Americans are struggling, guys. And the problem that a lot of people are experiencing is that they're not doing well, and people don't care about what's going on overseas, man.
Everybody cries, why can't we find work? Why can't we get a job? Oh, my is bad. Really? I think this is bad because you need to be pushing them and getting on out there. That's the problem. That's the problem with people. They don't want to work. Why can't we find work? Why can't we get a job? Oh, my God, the economy's bad. I think your legs is bad because you need to be pushing them and getting on out there. And
Is that true? Is that true? Is that people are not doing well because they're not looking for jobs, you guys? Do you believe that? You could believe that if you want to, but the reality is people are struggling.
And I thought it was the UK that was on its arse. Seems like these Americans are really fucking struggling with this. Check this video out. Tell me it don't break your heart. How can someone $80,000 a year to live? This is fucked.
Made, and we are brokest we've ever been.
But I'm making the most money I've had my entire life. My husband and I, between the two of us, gross, make like over $8,000 a year. And if you told me a few years ago that $80,000 was not going to be enough for a family of four.
I make more than what I made back in 2015, but I am still literally living paycheck to paycheck.
I have to work 60 hours a week and make $80,000 a year to make ends meet. That's insane. I just even begin to wrap my head around it.
Actually, I don't understand anymore. I don't understand $4 an hour. And I can't function. I can't.
When we see videos like the guy that says that most people are struggling because they don't want to find work or they can't find work, or man, most people don't even want to hear what people like that have to say, you guys. Because it's just nonsense. So many people are struggling in the States right now. And personally, for years now, I've come to the conclusion that it's a global issue. I think it's a global issue, but I would like to see a change. I think that is crazy. Like, let's start going over the basics right quick. Let's go over the basics, right? Food, shelter, safety, security, right? These are things that are outrageous. You know what I'm saying?
And what I'm about to say may piss a lot of landlords off, but I don't really care at all. But I'm going to read to y'all the qualifications that this person wants for this house. And it ain't an amazing ass how anything's super expensive. The rent, like I said, is $16.95, $40 application. They want you to make 3.5
3.5
times the rent. Reason is 3 times the rent. When majority of Americans don't even make $1,300 a month rent. I don't know where people just get up and be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna make this a national standard that people have to make 3 times the rent amount. Majority of people can afford 2 times the rent on a specific basic home like this. But this person is going even further. They don't want you to have 3 times the rent. They want you to have 3.5 times the rent. They want the last 2 years of your W-2s, the last 3 months of your check stub, driver's license or ID, social security card. They want you to make 2 months worth of rent as your security deposit before you even move in, and you have to have a credit score of at least a 670. I'm trying to tell you off the bat, that disqualifies so many people
Spoiler alert.
to be in a home that is decent. Let's add that up, why don't we? Off the rip, you have to pay first month's rent, $16.95. You have to pay $40 application fee per adult, and let's just say standard adult is 2 adults, right? If you have a pet, which majority of people do have pets, dogs, it's a $250 fee per pet. So let's just say you have a pet. Up, and then you have to make 2 months of the rent to equal the amount of the security deposit. That's $16.95 times 2. All right, and on top of that, we're not even talking about your things that you have set up. They want you to have rental insurance before you move in. And rental insurance is probably about $2 a month. Let's just say that before you can even move into this house, sitting in a safe or just idle money, you already got to come off of this amount of money.
Guys, am I the only one that thinks this? Because here's the thing. I'm sorry, I'm speechless. That's basically $6,000 that you gotta have just to move in. Man, and I'm not mad at the homeowner because you know the price is the price. But I think we gotta have a look at the income that a lot of people are making, guys. And I'm not saying it like I'm in a position where I'm big balling or nothing like that, because sometimes it's hard for me too. But guys, I work really hard, guys. I'm a grinder. Like, I'm not one to really complain. I worked my fair share, you know. So I earned this opinion, but I think that that's a bit ridiculous. I think it's a bit ridiculous. And I'm going to play a few more videos to break down the point. I'm going to talk about why things are just ridiculous in the States right now, man, especially when it comes to housing, our basic needs being met. And people are talking about a war overseas. Bro, the Americans are struggling, bro. Like, sis, the Americans are struggling. The Americans are struggling. Do y'all understand that? So many people are struggling right now.
So how are we handling when your apartment complex increases rent every single year? Like, are you able to negotiate, or are you just have to be like, okay, if you don't plan on moving and can't move? Like, I don't understand like how to go about this, because I feel like you are allowed to negotiate and be like, hey, I've been here for this many years, I'm a loyal tenant. So wondering how people navigate that, if that's at all possible, or if you just kind of have to deal with it, because this is annoying that we have been here for, it'll be 3 years of when we renew, which was the plan, hoping that it didn't increase, but it is increasing, and it's just really annoying. And I could have sworn that at the beginning when we moved in, like they had said, like, you can negotiate, like, as long as you stay here for a certain amount of time. So let me know if anyone else has ever negotiated rent with a complex versus like an individual landlord. So how are we handling?
Let's look at the comments. I'm gonna change the screen so you guys can look at the comments. 1 second. Let's look at the comments. Okay. Let's look at the comments. Okay. It says, sometimes this is a blessing. My landlord was ready to increase again this year. So I went out and found a 3-bedroom house for the same price as my 1-bedroom apartment. Someone else says, their screen name is a trip. Oh, wow. You move and rent from a private landlord. Best thing we ever did. Guys, so many people are struggling right now. So many people are struggling right now, guys. And it's something that we don't want to talk about. We don't want to talk about us struggling. That's not popular, especially in today's time. You know what I'm saying?
So I came across this. It says, this is the max rent you should be paying based upon your salary. Now, just so you guys know for reference, the average American makes about $49,000, which means your rent should be about $1,041. But here's the thing. The average of a 1-bedroom apartment in the United States right now is $1,700. That's damn near a 70% increase, okay? Now, one thing I am happy about is that the feds are suing certain rent companies for hiking up prices and gouging renters. That's a good thing. But ultimately, the rent is just too damn high. I know in California, we have a ballot measure that talks about rent control. And people are saying, you don't want to have rent control because builders will be too shy to build. Man, forget that. We need rent control because the rent is too damn high. And what I can clearly see is that a lot of major companies are taking advantage of people, hiking up the rent, and trying to squeeze people. And that's just not cool. Everybody should be able to make a profit in the United States. But gouging your fellow countrymen ain't right. That's not cool. So I'm hoping that this bill in California passes and we can get some rental relief for people that need it in terms of capping what they can go up to after your lease is done. Because I think about my mom who just lost her husband of 46 years. If I and my brother wasn't there, my mom would be looking at this price and she can't afford that. So I came across this.
Guys, it's ridiculous. Now, I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about how if you get sick, guys, it's over for you.
I legitimately just need encouragement that we all just owe medical debt again, because I just got another bill. Does your hospital do it this way, where they have like the main hospital and then a different hospital that does your anesthesia if you get an epidural, and a different hospital that takes care of the baby? So I have 3 separate bills, all with huge balances that I cannot pay. This is why I keep saying I'm broke. We can afford to live if we didn't have any of that medical debt, and would rebuild our savings and be just fine. But because apparently my insurance doesn't cover things, I just keep getting bills for thousands and thousands of dollars that I can't pay.
Right.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
What are you supposed to do?
I have nothing to give you. And then, I've never missed a bill, ever. So it feels really crappy to just, be ignoring it and know that it's going to go to collections and know that I'm going to have to be dealing with this for the next 10 years. It's so stupid. People talk about taking care of the middle class. We make just enough money that we don't qualify for any financial assistance from government organizations. None at all. But they still tax us. I still have to pay small business tax. And I still have to pay all these stupid bills after paying thousands of dollars a year for insurance. I'm just... Something has to give. It can't be like this forever.
Well, all right. Well, I would say that sucks. And it sucks because people need medical. All right. That's a human need. People need medical. Let's go to the comments. Someone says, I never pay my medical bills. Send me to collection. I don't care. Has never affected my credit. Someone else says, apply for financial assistance through the hospital, then set up a monthly payment plan for $10 a month. They can't send to collections if you're making payments. Guys, is this the reality? If you have to have surgery or you have a medical emergency, keyword emergency, you have to apply for some type of medical assistance and set up a $10 a month monthly plan so they don't send it to collections. Guys, now I know some people say, get it through your job. Get it through your job. A lot of times, guys, the way insurance is going, I can't be the only one. You work. Then when you use your insurance, a lot of times you may have to call off work to go to the hospital or urgent care. That's a whole nother subject. At my old workplace, they had a big sign, and the sign says urgent care, and they had a list of things that you would go to the urgent care for. Emergency room, which everyone knows the emergency room is more expensive. People can't even afford to have babies, guys.
Day 2 of trying to get TikTok to help me pay off my medical debt. I'm a 29-year-old stay-at-home mom, and I do have an in-home daycare, so I can stay at home with her. But I have $5,200 in medical debt that I'm trying to get TikTok to help me pay off. So if you would like to follow along on this journey, please do. Follow me, and I'll follow you back. Like and share this video to your friends. My question of the day is, do you have any kids, and how old are they? Day 2 of trying...
Man, guys. Let's go to some comments. Just a bunch of ladies saying how old their kids are. But the point of the matter is, we are basically having to depend on strangers for help, guys. We are dependent on strangers to help us. It says, me getting absolutely any medical bill in the mail no matter the amount. Am I the only one that kind of like their heart kind of beats a little bit when I get a package in the mail? If it's not from Amazon, I really don't want it. It's either is either a bill or something telling me that it's something that I have to pay in the future, a future bill.
Huh. Huh.
She put it in the trash.
Huh. Huh. Huh.
Hey, that's real talk. Let's go to the comments. The content creator Maggie McThick says, tough choice between shelter and the bill, but shelter is going to be healthcare. Someone says, I haven't paid the medical bill in years, and they're like, it will go to collections. And I'm like, okay. And someone says, I'm glad to see there are so many of us. And this is the reality, guys. People are struggling. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, Latino, Asian, guys. It doesn't matter what you are, guys. If you're in this country, odds are, if you're not, the offspring of some rich parents, you're in the struggle with me.
The CFPB has asked Trump to put your medical debt back onto your credit reports. The Biden administration had ruled that the medical debt could not be a part of your credit reports. But as of June 15, your medical debt will go back on your credit reports.
Guys, I don't even want to get into that. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, the medical debt and student loans are two debts that I really look at like, man, what are we supposed to do? Because if you get sick and you have to go, and they give you a bill, is really crazy right now. And check this. It creates alienation, guys. People feel alienated when they can't afford basic things.
The housing market has become so unaffordable for most Americans over the past 4 years, and I want to show you what happened. In February of 2020, the average house in this country was $275,000. If you put a 10% down payment and got a 3.52% interest rate, your principal and interest was $1,114 plus $500 for property tax and insurance, puts your payment out the door at $1,614. The average American only needed about $50,000 in a salary with very little debt to qualify for the average home in America. That was awesome, the American dream. Now in February of 2022, to about $350, 10% down, but the interest rates were still 3.73%. So $1,555 plus about $600 for property tax and insurance, put your payment out the door at $2,050. You needed about $65,000 in a salary with very little debt to qualify. Still very doable. Now let's fast forward to current day. February 2020 have shot up to $415,000, 10%. Interest rates are 6.75%, $2,423 principal and interest.
It's like everything just like, and that's just 4 years, guys. So everything just double up.
100 for property tax and looking at $3,123. So now you need about $95,000 to qualify if you have very little debt. So if you look at the down payments over the year, it's gone up only about $15,000, which is a lot, but also doable in 4 years. But what really pinched Americans, individuals went from $50,000 to almost $100,000 in salary in just 4 years. So many Americans can't afford a home right now. The housing market is so...
Let's go to the comments. The devil's in the detail. Millennials and Gen Z are struggling to afford a home. Broke. We ain't got it. We ain't got it, big dog. But we just have to lay off the avocado toast. Jane, housing market correction and reasonable rates help that we have hoarders who buy up tons of property to become. Omar Perez says, just when you get close, goalpost is moved. Someone says, I bought a condo in 2020, $60K, and now it's worth $360K. And Deja says, most of us making 50, 60 a year. Should we even talk about taxes? Because for you to make 50K as a W, then that means you would have 80K. Should we get into that conversation? Let's go there. I got time today. Let's talk about how much money is taken for taxes. Grinds my gears, you guys. This really grinds because we pay so much in taxes.
So I was ready to pay my property taxes, but I owe $880. And I'm so mad that my prices went up because it wasn't that. When she was living, we only was paying $400 or $500 a year, and that's also because we had homestead to her children, and my mom was the last one to stay up in here. And since my mom passed away in 2017, I've been having to pay.
And I know what you guys are thinking. $879, that's no money. When it comes to money, guys, everything is relative. Not be a lot of money. For her to nation, that $879 is a pretty penny. Okay?
How much will you pay in taxes if you make $100,000 in 2024? I'm gonna break this down super simple because there's a lot to our tax system. And in this example, you're gonna live in California. So we have our gross income, $100,000. For our federal tax, we'll take the standard deduction, $14,600, bringing our total taxable income $1,400. So we'll pay 10% on the first $11,000 we make, totaling $1,110. Then we'll pay 12% on everything we make above the 11 and up to $47,050, totaling $4,256. Then we're going to pay 22% on everything between $51,000 and $100,525, totaling $8,414.78. So in total, on the federal side, we'll pay $13,840.88. And now we move to the California income tax. Again, we'll take the standard deduction, $5,063. Then we're going to be taxed 1%. We make up to $10,400, which is going to total $104.13. Then on everything above the $10,413 up to $24,684, totaling $285.44. We're going to pay 4%, which is going to total $500. We're going to pay 6%, totaling $907.32. We'll pay 8% on the $1,080.
Just take everything, bro. We started off with 100K, and look, they're just taking.
$82 and $68, totaling $1,141.52. And finally, we'll pay 9.3% on the dollars between $68,000 and in our case, $100,000, which is going to total $2,943.36. So on the will pay $5,454.01. Now we're in here. This is Social Security and Medicare. $6,200 on the Social Security side, $150 for Medicare. So total FICA will be $7,650. So for this example, liability will be $26,944. So that means if you're making $100,000 a year in California, you'll be netting about $6,000 per month. Now there's a big group of people making $100,000 a year in California living paycheck to paycheck. So what do you think? If you were making $6,000 a month, would you be able to save, or would you be spending it all on expenses? How much will you
go to the comments? Cali, then get taxed on everything. That's another thing. Imagine we a country where all of, then you go to the store, you pay taxes. You put, you listen to these investment gurus, right? And I've asked, so let's say you're going to save for retirement. You take that money out of an IRA or a traditional before 59, half of what you put in there. So the money that you're putting away for retirement can be taxed. Does that make sense? The money that's for it to be taxed is taxed. You put it in the investment account, then that's taxed too. Guys, the system is really crappy.
Median retirement savings for people aged 25 to 34 right now is $1. This is how much they should have saved up by now. It's about $100,000. Ages 35 to 44 have saved up on average about $40,000. Should have about $250,000. Ages 45 to 54 have $15,000, but they should have nearly $550,000. While ages 55 to 185,000, they should have close to about $2.5 million. And then lastly, people getting ready to retire have only saved up about $200,000, but they should have saved up close to nearly $2 million. This is financial planning does not work. The numbers don't back it up. People are behind. How can you be better? How can you not become one of the statistics? You need to stop following the traditional financial planning advice. It's leading people to retire wealthy and potentially do it within 10 years or less. Make sure you follow me. So the median,
I already know what kind of content he creates. He's like one of those fire guys. Like, throw all of your financial independence, retire. Throw all of your money in an investment account and pray that it works out. Guys, we should not have to all of these pyramid schemes or all of these things in order to survive. We're doing so much. And I just showed you videos of people throwing bills in the trash can. And you're telling me, come on, guys. Man. Well.
But I just want to introduce myself really quick, or like I've gained a lot of followers since the last time I mentioned like what my page is all about. So if you're new here, my name is Ben. My husband just finished paying off $52,000 worth of credit card debt. We are both millennials. Now we're kind of on a journey to catch up for lost time. We still have car loans that we're in, but right now it's all about retirement. And I really want where other millennials are as far as their like saving up for retirement. 100% behind on that, and I wanted to get rid of our credit card debt before I started investing into my retirement. And I got calculations and a budget to see how much I have to have saved up before I retire. That number's gonna be sad, but yeah, if you have started retirement, let me know your age, or if you haven't,
How much money you got? How many problems? How much money? Well, I'm gonna be real. Most people don't have very much, guys.
Dipping into your retirement savings, it's time to listen up. Yes, if you're dipping into your savings, you're working time for dollars. It's a system that's broken, and you need much more than that. You need working for you. Is that they lied? I just said work hard, save your money what you can, and at the end of 40 years you'll get a gold watch and you'll have a retirement. Not so. That myth just died a long time ago. And now you're stuck. You're stuck in living paycheck to paycheck, and it's not working, is it? It's not. I do know I got out of that because I couldn't stand living paycheck. I couldn't stand depending on something else that never really showed up fully. There's never enough never enough at the end of the month to pay more bills. So I got out. I found a system that really saved my life. Really, I worked 2 hours. It taught me everything that I needed to know in there. And I had zero technical ability, zero knowledge of online following. I came from 44 years in real estate, and I knew nothing except that. So it taught me everything I needed to know. It gave me courage because of these easy, simple actions. And I got out there to build a business that worked for me. Because after I found everything, after I did my income earning activities and they helped customer, they put it on automation where it's working for me 24/7, my friend.
What this older lady is saying, God bless her. What I agree, if you are unable to make money on the internet, guys, you're going to drown, guys. If you are unable, I'm about to go to my profile. If you are unable to make money on the internet, you're going to drown, guys. Okay, video I'm looking for. But in 1993, Richard Nixon took the United States standard. So in the early 70s, the United States was in a recession. You probably don't know this. The United States was in a recession. The Vietnam War had taken place, and we were in a recession. How did they fix the problem? Good question, class. We were in a recession. Now think about this. Now I'm talking about here today on another live stream. We were in a recession. Our countries do two things that I've learned thus far. When there's one, we go to war. If we're broke, in the United States, financial problems, we go to war and we get resources from another nation. Historically, historically, that's what happens. Okay. Now, isn't it? I don't want to go there. Ooh, let's not go there. Let's not go there. What did they do in the 70s? They had just came out of a war, the Vietnam War. But then in Latin America, they had what was called the Dirty Wars. They had other wars, regime changes going on in Latin America, 70s. But let's get back to what did they do? What did they do to fix the problem? They printed more money. Now, this was a big argument at the time because at the time it's like going back to the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire had ducats, which was a coin, which they used to shave a part of the coin off. And what ended up happening to the Romans is that people started collecting the shavings and making more money, which devalued the currency. Now, what are people saying? Oh, things are like this because you know it's this money. It's the money system. Money is whatever the people who are in charge say it is. So if they today decide that something else is the new money, that's what the new money is. Now, I know that a lot of people don't want to accept that, or it may be hard for you to grasp, but this is true. Money is whatever the people who are in control say it is. For example, during the Roman Empire, they had a coin called a ducat. So that's me explaining what I was already saying. Money is whatever they say it is, guys. And so many of us are struggling because they can devalue money. They could put money down. And now let's go into how this is affecting the money situation affects other things. This is what I'm talking about, guys. It affects other things. And Karl Marx argued that it's a condition that the workers experience in a capitalist economy, meaning that they are controlled and exploited. And as a result, they experience alienation. Now, think about this, guys. It's a lot of people that can't afford rent. They can't afford to buy a house. Some people can't afford to have a child. Some people can't afford health care. The most basic needs that you think you deserve, you can't get. So what I'm going to talk about, guys, and this is really why I like to try to teach through videos and share my perspective, is because so many people are struggling and they don't know why they're struggling. And I don't blame them because they don't even have enough time to think. How can you think when you have a day? Hours a day. How can you think when you working 6 days a week? Man, today, he told me he worked 6 days a week, guys. Guys, you can't work. If I say it like this, and I'm not saying this to be offensive to anyone, okay? If you work in 5 and 6 days straight, you're probably overworking. How can a person think about it? Try to look at it from the imagine sometimes how I solve my problems, I pretend, right? I try to look at myself as another person. I would say, Brian, that's my name. Brian, you're working 6 days a week, but you can't pay your bills? Question, what are you spending on? Or Brian, how can you make more money so that you can work less you want to actually do? Now, what Karl Marx was talking about, he talks about capitalism and how it creates alienation, that the human working, but the thing they can't afford to purchase. People are working, they can't buy a car. People are working, they can't get food from working, they can't get a house. Now, do I agree with everything? Am I a Marxist? No. I'm a human being. I wish we could get back to that. I'm so tired of people saying, and forgive me if this is controversial, I'm so tired of people saying that they're a Democrat or they're Republican. At some point, when are we going to just be human beings? Why we got to gangbang on each other? Political gangbanging. If you don't agree with my ideology, forget your ideology for a second. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. All of that is concepts meant to divide. Can we agree on that? Okay, I thought about this. If you're a Democrat, which I'm nothing. I'm not a part of any organization. I'm not a part of any political party. Okay? I'm just a human being. Okay? When you accept the ideology of a group, you lose your personal freedom. That's what I think. If you become part of an organization, you become a robot to a degree. Would you agree? Because in order to accept the ideology, you have to no longer be willing to even question the ideology. Now let's get back to the point of humans being alienated because of the system that we're living in. That's either true or it's false. Even the fact of you, if you become part of a group, it immediately makes you an adversary to someone else. That's either true or it's false. Okay. Now, what is the solution to what's going on? How can we produce justice? How can we create a system that produces justice? I'm glad that you asked. Is the hierarchy of needs by Maslow. And this is very deep, and I'm going to wrap it up after this. So you have your your physiological needs. Your physiological needs. That's you as an animal, you as a living creature. And this is what I'm saying. This is why it doesn't matter if you are a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, because your most basic needs is what makes you a human. It doesn't matter if you are this or you're that. You're a human being. We all have the same needs. I had to start. What if everyone in the United States was Republican? Or what if everybody was Democrats? Would that solve the problem? Probably not. People would still fight. So what I'm going to talk about, guys, is the hierarchy of needs by Maslow. And this is very deep, and I'm going to wrap it up after this. So you have your your physiological needs. Your physiological needs. That's you as an animal, you as a living creature. Okay? That's food, water, safety, rest. You need that. As a human being, you can't exist without that. Okay? Now, imagine if you're working 6 days a week, 5 days a week. You're not getting enough sleep, guys. That's one of the major, that's why people can't think. That's actually a torture, guys. Do you know that? Like in the military and like these private organizations that torture people, one of them is to deprive the victim of sleep. We have millions of people surviving off caffeine, Red Bulls, what's the other one? Celsius, NOS. What's the other one? So many. Monster, Starbucks. They're sleep deprived. When you're sleep deprived, you can't think. Why can't you think? Well, the science has said that people who lack sleep is the same as a person who is intoxicated, that's drunk. Then you have level 2. That's your safety needs. So you want to be secure. We're talking about the hierarchy of needs, and we're talking about this money. How does this relate to the pyramid, right? So you have physiological needs, safety needs, belonging and love, esteem needs, and then the highest need is self-actualization. But we're going to talk about how all of this affects the real life. So like now we got like a psychological point. Let me go to this. Guys, watch this.
And I've seen numerous posts since the pandemic about how people in their early 20s to early 30s are extremely lonely. And I think there's a correlation between those two things. I used to be part of the club scene back in 2007 through 2011. And I'll make a couple observations about my time of really going out a lot, during that 4-year period. First of all, there was no Bumble or Tinder or anything to that effect. If you wanted to meet people, be it friends or people that you wanted to date, you had to physically get out of the house. So Thursday night.
why are people not going out of the house? It goes back to the last video. A lot of people don't feel safe and secure going out. Before people could even get to love and belonging in relationships, they have to have their most basic needs met. Most people are struggling to get their most basic needs met. How are they going to go out and meet people? And even if they did, what would their friends say? What would their family say? Bro, your priorities is messed up. You don't even have you don't even have shelter, and you're in some girl's face. Or what would this girls tell they home girl? Babe, you're all in this guy's face, and you don't even have shelter. You can't even adequately. So we know that we should get one before we get to the other, right? Animals, what do? A bird. A bird builds a nest before mating. Other animals build a nest before going into procreation. Humans need relationships. We need each other. It makes us feel good. It's an evolutionary need. We're not supposed to be isolated. We're not supposed to be alienated, but we will do it if we don't feel safe. Humans will go solo when they don't feel safe, when they feel insecure. I felt unsafe. I have felt insecure. And I said, you know what? I'd rather be single because I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to get hurt or someone's going to take advantage of me. We're in a situation now, guys, where people don't even want to go out and meet people. One, they can't afford it. Think about this. If the average person is working 5 or 6 days a week, you know how much money and effort it takes to leave your house on, like, let's say a Friday night or a Saturday, to go out and with strangers that you don't know, to try to socialize. It takes a lot of energy. But like I say, if you don't get enough rest, you can't even function properly. And most people are exhausted. They work too much. You're working 50 hours, 60 hours a week. To me, no one should work more than 50 hours. And that's a lot of hours. I think a sweet spot would be about 35, 40 hours. Work about 40 hours and you're done for the week. What are you really doing after that?
Night, Friday night, Saturday night, I was out of the house. I was out at the bar, I was out at the club, or something to that effect. Number two, back in those days, when we used to go to the clubs, and there used to be about four of us that would together, we would dance. And I've seen new
Guys, I'm going to play a video why guys don't even want to go out. Okay?
Bro, clubbing to me is fucking dead at this point, bro. Why the hell would I want to pay $300, $400, $500 to go stand on the couch when I could go in my fucking living room and go stand on my own goddamn couch for free?
No lies detected. People don't want to spend money to go out and do these type of things. A lot of guys are afraid to approach women in the States because they're afraid of rejection. I'm going to get to that in a minute. Okay? Me, I don't really care. About rejection. A lot of guys haven't even had fun, guys. I would tell guys to go overseas, experience life. Um, I would tell guys to learn, to read books.
Of course it is, and I didn't need a history book to actually learn this.
I don't want to get into topics like that, but I would tell people to do their best. But people can't even have relationships, guys, because they're too broke. Basically, look at this.
So the median retirement savings for people aged 25 to 34 right now is about $18,000. This is how much they should have saved up by now. It's about $100,000.
Think about that, guys. I don't want to get too deep, man, because when it's something that's not constructive, like this is a constructive conversation. We're talking about multiple topics: history, politics, communication. psychology, humans, physiological needs, things that make you human. Imagine we're in a situation where people are feeling detached from being human, alienated from the planet that you live on. You're a human being. I'm playing videos of people that are struggling to exist as a human being. You know how crazy that is? They got people, me included, can't afford the house, can't afford the car, the job sucks. Bro, you're a human being. We're supposed to be able to fix the system now or live in the system. But what if the system is just that we're experiencing alienation? You know what I mean? And what's so crazy is once we get into this, once we get into what happens when we try to get some of our higher needs met, right? When we try to get in some to enter into a relationship, we see some things.
Unpopular opinion. Being a man has to be one of the most difficult things in this world, because when I hear some of the requests that women have and how they can contradict themselves, I get confused. It's like, I don't need you to be too sensitive, but how dare you not share your feelings and your emotions with me? I need you to be a good leader, but understand that I won't be following you and I won't be listening to you, and you can't lead me anywhere. But be a good leader. Be strong and show a level of vulnerability, but not too much, because then strength and vulnerability cannot coexist together, because now I'm going to think that you weak. I want you to be truthful and honest, but not too truthful to where you telling me the truth about me, and now I got to feel some type of way towards you because you're supposed to be on my side at all points and times. Read my mind, but don't you dare assume that you know what I'm thinking. Meet my needs, even though I'm not going to tell you what my needs are all the time, but I expect for you to just know somehow. Be financially stable, but make sure you have a whole bunch of time, even though it takes time to make money. Now, when you hear some of these requests out loud and you see how they contradict themselves, don't it sound silly? And wouldn't you be just as...
Guys, I'm a man, so I'm gonna speak to the fellas. I'm gonna play a few more videos and I'm gonna wrap up the stream. Guys, this is why you gotta know, you have to know a variety of things. You to thy own self be true. You have to know yourself. One thing that a lot of people I see adults struggle with, they don't know how to communicate. We have adults that don't know how to communicate, don't know how to start a conversation. What is the purpose of communication? To communicate, to deliver messages back and forth. When you contact a person or a person contacted you, they have a reason for contacting you. If I call someone, I have a reason why I called them. When we start to deal with people from and it gets into sex, guys, the same rules apply. If you're contacting somebody, tell them what you want. Now, my question is, when does a relationship start? And I think that this is one of the things I thought about recently as I've gotten a little bit older. When does a relationship start? I think this is something that confuses so many people because they don't know when a relationship starts. So many people don't know when a relationship starts. Guys, relationships start. Let me see if my profile will pull back up. Relationship starts when you enter the bedroom, guys. When you enter the bedroom with a person, that's when the relationship starts. Why? Because a lot of things can go left when you enter the bedroom with a person, another adult. It's a deeper intimacy. That's when the relationship starts. Before you enter the bedroom, it's not a relationship. Once you enter the bedroom, it's a relationship. Okay? The problem is we as adults are having relationships with people. Why? Because we're entering the bedroom. But then we want to say that it's not a relationship, males and females alike. And this produces confusion, guys. And we wanting to go to the bedroom is one of your physiological needs. It's something that is in your nature to do, male or female. But we have to know how to go about these things because it could create a lot of problems. And I'm going to show you some of the problems. It on top of all of the financial and all of the other issues I talked about, this is some of the problems not being on your A game could cause you.
I don't care if you can do it. Sometimes you gotta humble them and show them who you are. So let's go put this dude on child support. Cause I ain't gonna beg you to be in your kid's life, and I damn sure ain't gonna beg you to take care of him. And just like that, sometimes you have to humble some people that think they bigger than the program, baby. You not bigger than the program or the system. You ain't gotta wanna deal with me, sweetie. But you gonna help take care of these kids. You gonna do that. And you ain't gonna make it difficult for me to have to take care of my kids. It's the summer, school out. I don't get no food stamps. And these children gotta eat. So you gotta help. So happy Father's Day to you, deadbeat ass nigga. Bye.
Okay, guys. Whew. I'm about to end the stream because this will go on for a whole nother topic. But I would say this young lady, this is an example of what I'm talking about. Humans at this point, we're not even good at being humans. Like, we're not even good at being who we are. I'm sorry. This young man and whoever her kids, she said kids, plural. You guys should have had a conversation about this before y'all did it. I will never understand this. You should have asked the man, did he want kids? He should have asked you, do you want kids? Plural. The fact that people do all of this stuff after a kid is born is ridiculous because it's conversations that could be had beforehand. It's not a relationship until you go to the bedroom. Now people are scrambling and they're trying to create rules and ask questions after they then left the bedroom. You should have asked those questions before you left the bedroom. You should have really got to know a person, male or female. Men too. We should get to know these women before you enter the bedroom, guys. This guy's about to get his check garnished because he didn't ask questions. Ask questions. Ladies, ask questions. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, man.
My homeboy got served child support papers. His baby mom put him on child support. He done called my phone talking about, what did I do? You got any advice, any tips? Say, hell no, they got me too.
We're laughing, but it's not funny, bro. You should have. Man. Hold on. Oh, it's not letting my page show up. I got a video on this. It's sad, guys, that it's sad. It's sad that we're in a situation where we can't even behave like humans. That's why I say I believe that we're alienated. Like, we're alienated from who we really are. Like, a lot of us are so lost, we're not even, some guys are opting out of following their nature. Some guys don't even want to talk to women. Some women don't even want to talk to men because it's confusion when we get together.
Men do not approach women anymore, but niggas do. The real ones ain't never stopped approaching. Never. The real players, the real niggas, the ones that be outside, they on demon time. They don't give a fuck. You think niggas give a fuck that you with your friends at the club, ladies? They don't give a fuck. We already know.
He's using a lot of profanity. But what he means is guys that still in tune with their nature. That's what he means. They're going to still do them. A lot of guys have lost the connection with their true nature.
Y'all, I have noticed something when I go out now. And I live in Houston, by the way. I have noticed that dudes out here do not approach women in the club. Well, I wouldn't even say like lounges or like speakeasies or anything like that. I'd be like, do y'all want somebody to approach y'all? Because I'll be damned. I'm sorry. And I'm not approaching no man. I mean, I have a fork, but I'm not doing it. Baby, you gotta show some type of interest. Baby, we done locked the eyes. That mean that's your go time. Come on, green light, go. But like, other than that, like, y'all don't do nothing. I be looking at y'all like, who the fuck do y'all think it's gonna come up here talking to y'all? Like, I'm sorry, like, I don't know if y'all be feeling like y'all that nigga. I respect it, but like, I ain't doing all that. I ain't doing all that.
A lot of guys are not approaching women. Going back to the economics, a lot of guys are not approaching women because they're struggling financially. Two, they don't want the consequences of what comes with the responsibility of dealing with another adult. Because I just played you videos, it can lead to them getting their wages garnished, it going left, and a lot of guys are choosing to avoid it. Most men have been in relationships before. But the problem is it came with such baggage that they realized that it takes more than love. It takes more than love to have a healthy relationship, guys. It takes a system to support the relationship. It takes an environment to support the relationship. I just played a bunch of videos on how bad everyone is doing and how the system isn't supporting them. And people actually getting on the internet asking questions about why people are not approaching them. They can't get their basic needs met. They can't even they can't have a relationship. In order to have, this is what I'm saying, guys. In order to have a relationship, guys, your most basic needs would have to be met. When you woke up this morning or tomorrow, when you go to work, right? You're going to work for what? To get your most basic needs met. Before you could share a world with someone, you would need enough resources to share. This is a big problem for men. Men are struggling in this department, and it's not their fault. The society has changed. Women crave men. It's in their nature to crave men. They do everything to attract men. They dress a certain type of way. They smell a certain type of way. They crave men, but they can't get access to us. Why? Because we are experiencing alienation, guys. A lot of young people are alienated from one another. forced isolation. It's alienation because they should be with the group, but they're not. You feel me? They're not. So guys, I'm gonna end the stream. Thank you for tuning in. Check my channel for other videos. And I really would like to dig into this topic later. Maybe tomorrow I might touch on it further. You know, I was just chopping up some game tonight. So it's been good. As always, you can support me. That's my cash app right there, Elaine Kim 29. And I'm Audi 5000.